Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by Clip on my YouTube channel. So, for this week I chose to speak a little bit about a good mix. Actually, the good sounding track, what is required and what are the secrets about the good mix. This video, I will not even turn on the computer because I was trying to make this video for a long time and I just didn't had the proper approach, as I also wanted to do this video for a long time, but I realized that I've tried to do it and then I realized how much of things that video would require. So I just want to ask all of you to understand the point. My point of this video is not to prove anybody something that I do good or to try to do any kind of marketing or whatsoever. This is 100% honesty from me, and I might be wrong, but this is how I see it, and all that I'm gonna tell in this video is coming from my personal experience. So I just wanna do a briefly to the history of my production career, and I started making music 2003. And when I started, I wanted to be creative, and it was pretty interesting for me to create, write melodies, and so on, so on. And then, how time was passing, year or two after that, I realized that my tracks, beside of creation, that they didn't sound that good. That when I go to the party and I heard how other artists were making really nice sounding tracks, and I got this kind of obsession that I want to create amazing sounding music as well, good mixes, good sound designs, and so on. So let's say that at 2005 my search for a good sounding track started, and 2019, maybe 2020, was the year when I first time after 2005 I got satisfied with my mixes. I got to the point where I'm starting a track, and until I write the whole track, when I finish it, it sounds already tough and pretty good. So 15 years of learning, reading, and spending hours and hours and hours in the studio in a search for a formula to get the good sounding track. So basically, I know that plenty of you will not like this video because it will probably tell you something that I also was afraid of. When I was younger, I also hoped that there is a formula, that there is some trick, that there is something that will make my tracks to sound pretty good. I also had a dream that if I buy some kind of expensive equipment, it will solve the problem. But I must disappoint you if you have the same beliefs. Something like this does not exist at all. So it is all of those things connected together. So the path for a good mix starts from when you do file new project. From that moment you start to design. So basically the first thing is the sources. For example, the samples that you are using. If you are using a kick sample, then that kick sample needs to be really good designed. So first thing is amazing sound. Is if you want your tracks to sound amazing, they need to have an amazing sources from the beginning. Will you do that, or you will get some of the packs that are pretty good designed? This is now the option that you want to go, that you are going to choose. So after that you will have, for example, kick and the bass, the first two channels that we usually do, that are good sound designed. Then you will need to make a good alignment between those two. You will also need to match the levels of those two channels, right? After that you will need to add the hi-hats, the written. So basically, after the first track, usually my tracks ends up around 100 channels for each track. So you will need to have really good sound design, knowledge, you will need to have mixing knowledge, you will need to have an amazingly trained ears, you will need to have amazing speakers. I'm talking about like really high-end production right now. If you are dreaming about high-end production, you need to have high-end sound design, you need to have high-end skills for mixing, you will need to have high-end equipment, including the acoustic treatment of the room, and all of those things together. To develop those skills for all of those things, for me, it took 15 to 18 years. So if I were now on the beginning, and if I had this, let's say that I want to start right now writing music, and if I know what I've been through all these 18 years and how hard it was to learn all of these things, to be honest, I wouldn't go through that path again, because now with all this, I know it's gonna sound a little bit egoistic, but honestly, it is not that I'm not trying to impress anybody. It is just my honest thoughts, and I really wanna help you with those videos. And this is something which I'm passionate about, because I got a little bit disappointed with these skills that I have right now, like how much of that you can implement and how much earnings and what you can get back from it. It's really, really small, as the music industry and music business is oversaturated, because it's pretty interesting and it is an amazing job. But to create the path to be well paid for it as well, it's pretty hard. And also today, there's a lot of people who do the same things, and some people are fighting with that, with lowering the prices, and everybody think that knows the best, and so on, so on. So my biggest advice for you, if you still have the passion to write the music, to be creative, it will be to find somebody, some professional who already been through all of this pain and sweat and so on, and that you pay somebody to do the mixing for you. And a lot of artists are doing that, and there's nothing wrong with it, because it requires a lot of time, energy, and so on. So let's say that you know all the techniques. For example, I read everything that I could find about in my search for good sounding tracks. So all of the techniques, all the theories, I knew everything. And when you know the theory, and then when you try to implement it, you realize that basically, even if you know the theory, you need to know all the theory, and then you need to understand in which moment which of those things you need to implement to get sound. So there's also that you need to have a really good trained ears, and to have a really good trained ears, there is no shortcuts and there is no any help. There is no any analyzer on the world that will help you. Of course, I'm not saying that analyzer is a bad thing, it's an amazing thing, but it is just a small tool that will help you in some moments to try to solve the problem. So basically, when you, for example, design the kick in an empty project, when you start filling that project with other sounds, you will realize that that kick that was really good sounding on the beginning, that doesn't sound even close good as it was when the project was empty. So for a good sounding track, there is a thousands of processes. You need to learn how much of attack or how much threshold you need to use on the compression. How what modes you should use when you EQ. When you EQing the kick, for example, and you hear that 200 hertz is louder, you need to understand straight away, should you use the linear phase or you should use a dynamic EQ. uh, if that boosted frequency on the kick on a 200 hertz, is it does it cover the whole kick, or it's just boosted on some parts? So in that way, you need to use dynamic. When you use a reverb, how much you should use, how much mono you should use, how much stereo you should use. And all of those tools that are existing out there, you need to learn all of them, actually to master them. And then you need to, for each of those processes, you need to start to making a decisions. And without the trainees, you won't be able to make a good decision. And without a good speakers, you won't be able to hear where is the error. And without a good treated room, the good speakers won't help you. So when I calculated all of this together, I wouldn't go through that process no matter what. And if I was a beginner, I would find somebody who is doing good mixes and I would pay a professional and I would just enjoy in being creative. I know that this video is will not give you much of the hope and so on, but if you want to learn it, of course you can go through this path. But just my advice is that you do not expect any secret formula, secret ingredient, secret technique. To be honest, it is all about the formulas, techniques, and so on. But you need to understand that for one track, you need to do thousands of those things. Each process will increase your channel, your kick, or your baseline, or your lead, or whatever for a 2 to 5%. So, in order to make something better 2 times, you need to implement 50 processes, and each of those processes need to be with a good decision, as all of those possibilities that are out there where you can twist all these knobs around can just make you crazy. At least I was going crazy. My album from 2014, Into the Void, I finished writing maybe 6 to 10 months, and I'm talking about writing the track, the melodies, arrangement, and so on. And mixing in that time, I was doing for 1 year and 6 months, and I never finished. I was never satisfied with that album, how it sounded. I just came up to the deadline where I needed to deliver it to the label, so I sent my album without being happy how does it sound. And when I hear it right now, I exactly understand why I wasn't happy. Anyway, so the idea of this video is not to try to destroy your dreams or something, but it is my point, or my goal of this video is just to pass you how much it will cost you in a way. And if you are not okay to pay that much, that price, then it's better to do the different way, to find a professional, to pay somebody to do your mix, and there's nothing bad about that. And a lot of high-end artists are doing that. Basically, I know only few artists who are doing their own mixes without anybody else's help, and there's nothing wrong with that. As all of those people who are writing music for a long time understand how painful it is to create good sounding track. One thing is to be creative, write melodies, and be enjoying in all this creative work, and this moment of making it to sound tough and good and everything to be on its spot and the whole track to sound good. The process is just for me insanely hard, and I really hope that this video are not gonna destroy your dreams. But if you're not well to pay this price for, or to invest this much time in learning all of these processes, I think the better solution is that somebody else does it for you and you can enjoy and being creative. So I really hope that this video will, I know that this video is not going to be, and that I will not gain any points with this video, because I think it can be a dream killer or something. Because I remember when I was younger, I was also having the hopes that there is a shortcut to having all these things, and that I will have one day good sounding track. And I hoped, actually I thought it's gonna be much, 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 much faster. But I paid 15 years at least in learning all of those things. And to be honest, as I said before, I wouldn't go through that path again for sure. And I'm not offering any mixing services still. I might start doing that later this year, but right now I'm not, so I'm not trying to advertise myself. And there are some comments on the YouTube channel where I see that people are trying to give me some bad vibes or something that are trying to find. I'm offering a free tutorials on my YouTube channel, and I'm doing that because I feel it is a good thing to do. And my if you calculate my views on the YouTube and if you understand how much money I get back from the YouTube, you will understand that this is nonsense money. So I'm not doing it because of the financials. I'm doing it because I understood how much time I spent in my life to learn all that I know. And to be honest, I feel sad if somebody else go through that path. So I'm doing this because I really want to shorten up a time for young producers, and I really want to help them because I know how much frustrated I was and how much time I spent in gaining this knowledge that I have today. And I just want to pass it on and help some people to get at least some informations they needed. And people who know me, they know that I not a person who is doing this because of the marketing, because doing the marketing right now is just ridiculous because there is no any money from the music, and all that I fought for in my life I stayed without it after the corona started. So it would be just crazy for anyone to believe that I'm trying to advertise myself on any way. Now, when it comes to the course and psychedelic tips, this is might be an advertising, but I'm not trying to sell you something that I really don't believe in. As the people who saw psychedelic tips and all the comments that I got back, if you are well to go on this path to that you want to do everything by your own, then I think the best way would be to watch the Psychedelic Tips Wall 2, because in that course you will be able to see from the beginning till the end what is all the processes you need to go through writing one track. And all the recordings with explanations in Psychedelic Tips I recorded more than a 15 hours, but because of the limitations of the websites and the videos, I needed to edit it and to put it on 10 hours only. But if you decide to go on that way, that you want to do everything by your own, to design your kicks, the bass lines, to drop in the hi-hats, to mix everything together, to create the drum templates, to write the arps, doing the layering and all these processes, it is all in Psychedelic Tips Wall 2. And I wish I could put that course for free as well, but I needed a lot of time to record it. I need a lot of knowledge, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life because I needed to work on my music, to make something to sound as it does, and to record all of that, to explain that, and to buy equipment, and to spend. I spent 4 months and so on. So I understand that if you believe that all these videos are kind of marketing, they are. But in these YouTube videos, I'm doing those videos as much as I can to offer you for free. And yes, you can see what do I know about the Psytrance production. And then if you decide, you can buy this course and then you can see the whole process. The path, as I said already, the path for a good mix is really, really frustrating, as it at least it was for me. So I really hope that you find this video in a good mood and that you are well and safe and healthy. So that would be all for this video. And yeah, see you soon, maybe next week. I'm not gonna do that often the videos anymore because they require a lot of time and I'm running without an ideas. And to be honest, I really want to do more videos like this one, as I believe those videos, like the last one with the sampling and the one before, are something that can open your eyes and give you the insight information from somebody who has been from the beginning till the end. Maybe of one of the some of the next videos I will do outside of studio, where I could explain you about what is needed to develop the career without just writing the music. Writing the music is one thing, and the next thing is to place all of that on the market and to do the advertising, and I'm gonna save all of that for one of the next videos. So I just wanna try with this video and the next one to give you insight what is needed for some of those processes where you can choose, do you wanna do that or you wanna try to do it a little bit different. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye. Ciao.